Welcome back to News Talk. Metro leaders will be testifying on Capitol Hill this afternoon. The agency's new general manager, Paul Wiedefeld, expected to acknowledge publicly that Washington area commuters have lost faith in the organization he leads. He's also expected to face tough questions from members of Congress. Northern Virginia Congressman Jerry Connolly joins us now. Congressman, thanks very much for your time. It's great having you. It's great having you with us as always. What's the purpose of today's hearing? Can you give us a sense of where General Manager Wiedefeld will be testifying and what the focus, the thrust of it is likely to be?
Well, first of all, this was a hearing initiated by the Republican chairman of the subcommittee, John Mica, former chairman of the Transportation Committee. He has a long and abiding interest in Metro and Metro's challenges, and he wanted to get an update and a hearing, if you will, of accountability on where are we. And I think there's a sense of heightened anxiety up here on the Hill about what's happening to Metro. I think that anxiety was accentuated by printed reports that there might be prolonged shutdowns of individual lines in Metro to make maintenance and safety improvements. So I think it's going to be a hearing about where are we and what is the state of play in terms of safety and reliability in Metro.
What can make the exchange that Mr. Wiedefeld has with your colleagues of value? I mean, clearly, as we were just discussing here in the studio with Delegate Kumar Barve, if the federal government is to be a partner with Maryland and D.C. and Virginia in terms of the financial support that Metro needs, you and your colleagues need to have confidence that dollars are being well spent and that this is a well-run agency. But even beyond that, clearly Paul Wiedefeld is bringing a new approach to WMATA. What can he do today to help?
I think this is an opportunity for the new general manager, and all of us want him to succeed, to cut no corners and lay it out, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What are you dealing with? What are the real challenges? So that we can put everything in context. You know, you can't say money isn't the problem, but neither can you say money is the only problem or the overwhelming problem. Clearly, there are operational challenges from top to bottom. I've called what's happened at Metro a descent into a culture of mediocrity, where we've settled for things. And people don't whistle while they work, and frankly, indifference has been allowed to replace a sense of mission with respect to safety and customer service. And I think that's a huge change from the original Metro many of us remember.
The head of the Metro board, Jack Evans, certainly got our collective attention when he talked about things having reached a point where you could have a line, and he identified in his comments the blue line. He said, you know, it's so bad we could have to close a line for a long period in order to do the maintenance that needs doing and the repair, because nights and weekends and single tracking and the ways of doing repair that are less impactful on the public just won't get us caught up. Those comments were since walked back by the general manager, Mr. Wiedefeld, but it's still striking that they were out there to begin with. Is it your sense from talking to people as a leading member of Congress on the issue of Metro that we could still face something like that? We've already had a 24-hour period with no rail.
Hopefully not. I certainly have not been apprised of a situation as dire as that. That has to be, I think, off the table as an option. Metro's here, you know, for over 40 years. It's here to serve the commuting public and the visiting public that comes to the nation's capital every year, 12 million of them. The largest beneficiary of Metro every day is the federal government. We can't afford to have a line shut down for months at a time. I think Jack maybe got ahead of himself. Maybe it was a useful warning about how serious some of the issues are. But up here, it certainly didn't serve to instill or reinforce confidence in Metro and its capability. So I think, again, our hearing today will seek some real clarity about what did you mean by that and why did you think that was a potential solution.
There's a significant new oversight role that the federal government is playing in terms of safety and reliability within Metro Rail. Can you talk about that? Is it working? Is this part of what we, the public, can sort of have in the back of our mind going forward when we step into the transit system with a hope that things will be safe?
You know, in terms of safety oversight, think of it in two different levels. One is we need the Tri-State Oversight Safety Committee to be up and running and be dynamic and vibrant and do its job, which Secretary Fox has called for, and he's right. The second is the recommendation of the NTSB after the last accident, which said safety in the federal government ought to reside in the FRA, the Railroad Administration, not the FTA, the Transit Administration, because the FRA has the capability. For reasons known only to himself, Secretary Fox decided not to take that recommendation and went with the FTA. Ironically, right now, the FTA is reliant on the FRA for staffing in that oversight role. Hopefully that can be sorted out, because what ought to be number one is what's best for public safety, not what's best for the bureaucracy, not what limits, turf wars within the Department of Transportation. What serves the public interest best?
Northern Virginia Congressman Jerry Connolly, Democrat. He represents Fairfax County. Has been involved very intensely in the discussions the region is having about Metro right now. Thank you very much for your time today.
My pleasure, Bruce.
Good to have you with us as always. I'm sure we'll be talking with you again soon. 16 after the hour now. We'll get you updated on the hour's top stories and the forecast straight ahead. We will wrap up our conversation with Maryland State Delegate Kumar Barve, and then our political panel weighs in on Donald Trump's latest gripes with the GOP.